Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Friday morning, and a lovely Friday morning it is. The sun is shining and Arsenal are back to winning ways in the Premier League with that really gritty, scrappy, fun 1-0 win last night. I've got to say, when full-time whistle goes, it's much like that game at Burnley earlier on in the season when they weren't brilliant, Arsenal by any means, but they scrapped it out, and when that full-time whistle goes it feels really, really satisfying, and it did last night. Against a good Wolves team who are difficult to beat, certainly at home. And for Arsenal to go there on the back of what was a really difficult January, wasn't it? To go there and get the win, to survive again with 10 men, to get the points, it was a satisfying win, no doubt about it. Apologies if you guys were watching the live stream before the game last night on that I did from the warm-ups, and reacting to Team News. Wi-Fi in the press box was terrible, and I had to just cut it short. It just wasn't happening. But by the sounds of it, the pitch was awful as well, and it kept freezing, so I had to call time on that. So apologies for that, but just wanted to talk a little bit in length about the match, go into some detail about what happened, giving my thoughts on what was a very impressive and really, really crucial win for Arsenal, who now sit 5th in the Premier League, just 1 point behind West Ham, but they've got 2 games in hand on them. They've got a game in hand on Man United. They're above them in the league. They're now 3 points above Spurs, although Spurs have a game in hand. They haven't got as good a goal difference, so wouldn't even go above Arsenal. So it was just a massive win all round last night. They really, really needed it after that January, going winless, 5 games without a win in all competition. Only 2 of them in the Premier League, but still going 5 games without a win in all competitions. The way the transfer window unfolded, Aubameyang leaving, no one coming in. You just felt they had to win last night because the reaction to a defeat would have been pretty bad, I think. And they did just that. They showed an awful lot of spirit. I mean, the defence, again, we've spoken about it plenty of times this season, but the defence was fantastic. Midfield was good. Substitutes who came on and helped get the job done. I'll speak about Rob Holding a little bit later on in this video. Yes, they probably should have won it by more, to be fair. They created all the big chances in the game. There weren't many. There was never going to be. You're playing a Wolves team who don't score many but don't concede many. They keep things very, very tight. So it was always going to be, you felt like it was going to be a 1-0 low-scoring type game, and it was. But Arsenal did have chances to extend their lead. I mean, Lacazette obviously missed that really big chance just after Martinelli had got sent off. Had that gone in, which it should have done, it certainly should have at least hit the target. Then 2-0 was a fantastic win. I mean, I do have a little bit of sympathy for Lacazette, because when you actually watch the replay, it was hard to score. I think the fact he missed the target was because he had to really try and bend it round because the keeper was on him. So it wasn't the easiest. It looked bad because he missed the target, but I think the only way he was going to score was he had to get some real whip on it because of how close Jose Sarr got to him. Maybe he could have put it through his legs, but still, if you're a top striker, you've got to be finding a way to score that sort of chance. And I think he missed one in the first half after brilliant play from Saka when his shot went straight at Jose Sarr. Again, that was a good opportunity. There was a header as well from Cedric's ball in that he didn't get hold of. So you kind of look at that and you think, is this going to be the story of the season? The remainder of the season, Arsenal struggling to really finish off the chances. I mean, it's been a story a lot of the season so far. We know that they're not clinical enough when it in front of goal. They don't score enough goals, and you just can't really see where that change between now and the end of the season. So with that, so in regards to that, then you've got everyone else has to chip in, and that man behind us again with a crucial goal yesterday, Gabriel getting the winner, very scrappy from a set piece, but they all count. And it was a massive win. Mikel saying afterwards, it was a massive game for us against a really good team away. I think we had some really good periods in the game when we went ahead, but again, the red card completely changes the context. We had to dig in, show great resilience. We defended the box really well, and that's why in the end we got the points. And they did. They defended excellently, and they deserve real credit for it. I mean, Gabriel, Ben White, it's just a hell of a partnership. It really is. Ramsdale again was fantastic. Cedric Suarez, big credit to Cedric coming in. There was when I was doing that stream before, I had to call it off before the game. Everyone was going, "Oh no, Cedric starting. What do you think of Cedric?" And he put in an absolutely superb performance. Cedric barely put a foot wrong. Was a threat going forward as well. He whipped in a couple of really good crosses. That one that I spoke about when Lacazette missed a header was an excellent ball in, and he just defended really well. And fair play to him, because he's had a difficult season, Cedric. There's no doubt about that. His performances have not been very good when he has played, and that was a tough game to come into last night. But he coped really well and helped Arsenal to yet another clean sheet. I think it's 11 clean sheets for them now. Only, I'll put it down here, where was it? They only Man City and Liverpool have kept more clean sheets. City have kept 14, Liverpool 12, and Arsenal 11. But when you think, those first 3 games of the season for Arsenal weren't this defence, was it? You still had Leno in goal. Gabriel had been away. Ben White was out with COVID. Tomiyasu hadn't turned up at that point. So it was a completely different defence. I mean, Arsenal conceded 24 goals in the league this season. 9 of them came in those first 3 games when that defence hadn't been blooded in, really. Since then, since the defence have all got together, Arsenal have only conceded 14 goals in the Premier League. Like I said, 11 clean sheets. I think they've only conceded 3 goals in the last 7 Premier League games. 2 of those have been penalties. So, finally, it really feels like, the old classic 1-0 to the Arsenal is beginning to come back. It looks like the defence is just shaping up really, really well. And they had to dig in yesterday, and they did just that. And, they were absolutely crucial to getting the win. We've got to talk about the red card. I drove home yesterday, back from the game, and I was listening to the radio, and fans were calling in about it. Radio presenters were debating about it. Some people said it was a red card. Others said they couldn't believe it, and the referee, Michael Oliver, could have shown a bit more, could have been a bit more sensible in that position. Because for Gabby, it was a weird one. I mean, Mikel said afterwards that he's not seen anything like it in 18 years in this country, and I kind of agree with him. There was, I think, a little bit similar earlier in the season when Ruben Neves, sorry, he was at the Wolves striker. I've forgotten his name now. His name totally gone. The Wolves striker got sent off at Manchester. Jimenez got sent off at Man City when he got booked, and then he stopped City taking the resulting free kick, and he got booked again. But this one was a little bit different because Gabby didn't know he had been booked, did he? Because they played advantage from when he blocked that throw-in. So had he known he was on a yellow card, which he put in your head, you probably think, I might get booked for that. But when you're chasing a defender back, that might not come into your head at that sort of speed. So if he knew he was going to get booked, then maybe he wouldn't have done the second one. And so maybe Michael Oliver, once he decided he booked him, should have just brought the play back and booked him there and then. Even so, it was a bit stupid from Martinelli. I can see why he got sent off. When I was watching it in real time, I thought to myself, he's in trouble here when he did the second one, because I knew he was going to get booked for the first one. It was obvious. It was just, you're always going to get booked for that. And I wasn't surprised when Michael Oliver showed him 2 yellow cards for it, because it was in my head as soon as he did the second foul. I did think to myself, oh God, you could be in trouble here, Gabby. So I can understand Arteta's point of view, but I can also understand why he was sent off. And so it was a weird one. It was one of those sort of red cards you're just not going to really see again. But the good thing for Arsenal, and crucially for Arsenal, is that it didn't cost them in this instance. They saw the game out. Rob Holding came on and was magnificent. Rob Holding, he really, really was, and helped see the game out. But Arsenal have got to sort this disciplinary issue out now. I think in 2022 they've had 6 games. They've had 4 players sent off. They've had more players sent off than they have scored goals in the 6 games in 2022. If you're gonna get yourselves in the Champions League, if you're gonna win this battle for the top 4 and get 4th or maybe even 3rd, because Chelsea aren't too far away from Arsenal if Arsenal win their games in hand. But certainly if you're going to get 4th, you're going to need to keep 11 players on the pitch more often than not, and you can't keep afford to getting players sent off. And yes, Arsenal got a win yesterday, but they've got to sort it out. And they're stupid red cards, a lot of them as well, like that one yesterday. Although yes, it was controversial, it was avoidable. He didn't need to do it, and he got himself sent off. And some of the other ones in 2022 have been just like that as well. And Granit Xhaka's one at Liverpool in the Cup. Gabriel's one against Manchester City in the league. 2 yellow cards in the space of a minute, basically. They're just stupid red cards that are avoidable. And so you've got to be a little bit more sensible. Yes, Arsenal are a young team, but you just can't afford it. I mean, Mikel was speaking about it yesterday. I'm sure you've seen it. He said, if you ask me if I'm happy with the decisions we've had this season, then I'm not at all. But that is a conversation I will have with the officials privately. We need explanations. We need explanations with things that have happened with VAR, and I need an explanation about what happened tonight. The conversations are going to happen soon. So basically, Mikel's saying there that he wants to get in touch and have proper conversations now with the referees group, which is the PGMOL, to find out what's happening, why Arsenal are getting so many more red cards than any other team. And it's a justifiable question to ask, I think, because the numbers are mad when you look at how many red cards. I think it's 14 now or 15 that Arsenal have had since Arteta arrived. That's about 6 or 7 more than any other team in the Premier League in all competitions. And that's pretty remarkable, really, especially when you look at Arsenal, and they're not a dirty team. They're really not. It's not dirty Arsenal at all. Again, as I go back to the point, they're just stupid red cards, a lot of them, that, can be avoided. And that's where they're going to have to be a little bit more sensible and show a little bit more nous. Because, yes, it's a young team, but you can't keep falling back on the excuse that you're young. You've got to sort it out, and you've got to keep 11 players on the pitch. It's absolutely vital in a league as brutal and as competitive as the Premier League. You can't play with 10 men pretty much every other game, which is what Arsenal have been doing since the turn of the year. In terms of Martinelli's suspension, obviously it's going to be a one game because it was just 2 yellow cards. They're not going to be able to appeal it because it was 2 yellow cards. And they wouldn't get it overturned anyway in that instance. So he's going to miss one game, so he'll be out for the Brentford game. You would think Emil Smith-Rowe, just come in, straight swap, left light for light on the left-hand side. Smith-Rowe did limp off the pitch at the end of the game yesterday, but then I watched him after all the players had gone down the tunnel and the fans had gone. He came back out onto the pitch with the fitness coach, and he was doing a lot of shuttle runs up and down the pitch, and he looked fine. So, and obviously there's a long break now until the Brentford game on Sunday week. So one game ban for Martinelli. Smith-Rowe, you'd expect, just going to come straight in. Just quickly before I end this with my player ratings, because I didn't get to do them last night, I just wanted to have a quick word about Rob Holding, who was absolutely fantastic last night. I just want to pull up the stats. I mean, he was on the pitch, Holding, for 18 minutes, I think it was, and let's have a look, defence for Rob Holding. He had 9 clearances in 18 minutes he was on the pitch that he came on. That's more than any other. That's 4 more than any other player. Ben White and Gabriel both had 5, and they were on the pitch for the entire match. Rob Holding 9 more. So that's fantastic from him. He made 1 interception. Only Thomas Partey made more than that. He made 1 block. No one else made more than that. It was just a absolutely fabulous performance from Rob Holding. Look at this as well. Aerial duels, he competed in 3 of them, 100% success rate. So he won all 3 of the aerial duels that came in. He gets an awful lot of grief, Rob Holding, but I've said it before, I think Rob Holding is a very, very good defender. And, maybe, he shouldn't be first choice, but for a 3rd or 4th choice defender to have in your squad, I think Rob Holding is a very good option to have. And he's a proper good guy as well behind the scenes, and really good for the dressing room. So he deserves an awful lot of credit last night. And Mikel said afterwards, today Rob deserves a lot of credit. He was on the bench, he was ready to help. His attitude, commitment to the team, whether he plays every week or plays 1 minute or never plays, it is incredibly good. He's a really good influence for the rest. He really helped the team. The way he defended the box makes a huge difference, and thanks to him we won the game. So big credit for Rob Holding last night, and I think he deserves all of it because it was just an immense cameo, and you can't really put a figure on just how important he was for that win, because Wolves were throwing everything at Arsenal for those last 20 minutes, and having Holding there when Arteta actually made the sub, I thought, I'm not sure about that. It's going to invite even more pressure. You're taking off, I think he took off Saka, didn't he, or someone for Holding. I thought, oh no, it's going to invite even more pressure, but in the end it proved to be a good sub, and Holding did fantastically well, so credit to Rob for that. Okay, right, player ratings. We're going to finish with player ratings because I didn't get to do them after the game last night. And some good ones here. Always nice to do player ratings after a win. We'll start with Aaron Ramsdale. Brilliant again. Just got on the backs of the Wolves fans so much. He loves winding the home fans up when he plays away from home. And it makes me laugh so much. He's just got such brilliant character around him. He was great in the air whenever the ball came in yesterday. Commanded his box well, made a couple of really smart saves. He gets an 8 from me. Cedric, very, very close to man of the match for me, Cedric. I thought he was really, really good. He gets an 8. Ben White gets an 8. Gabriel, I'm giving man of the match. I thought it was tough to sort of separate any of the defenders because I thought they all played well, but the fact Gabriel got himself the winning goal, he just edges it for me. So he gets a 9 and my man of the match. Kieran Tierney gets a 7. In midfield, I thought Xhaka and Partey were really good. I think they both getting 8. So for Xhaka, there was one defensive header from Granit Xhaka in the first half. It looked a certain goal when the cross came in. He was at the back post and he got his header to it. Really good from Xhaka. He gets an 8. Bukayo Saka, I'm going to give an 8 to as well. I thought he was great down the right-hand side, especially in the first half. Caused Wolves all sorts of problems. Had Kilman on toast. Should have got at least 1 assist. I thought set up a good chance for Ben White that was blocked, and then set up that really good chance for Lacazette, which went straight at the keeper in the first half. So I thought he was great before he got withdrawn. He gets an 8. Odegaard, for me, gets a 7. Martinelli, I'm going to give a 6, which is a bit harsh because Martinelli looked really bright whenever he was on the ball, especially in the first half when Arsenal looked the better team instead of going forward. He caused them all sort of problems, but I've got to take a couple of points off maybe for the red card because I just thought it was a silly thing to do. It was a little bit sort of petulant, inexperienced. So I give Gabby a 6. Lacazette, I'm going to give a 6 too. I mean, didn't stop working, Alexander Lacazette, and he's going to have to do that between now and the end of the season. I think it's clear he's not going to score 10 goals between now and the season. He might not score 5 goals between now and the end of the season, but what he's going to have to do is work so hard and bring others into play, and he did that yesterday. He should have scored, no doubt about it. He gets a 6 for me, and the other subs I'm not really going to mark, but I'm going to mark Rob Holdham just because he was so good. He gets an 8 for me. So there are my player ratings. That's my reaction to what was a very, very important win for Arsenal last night. I hope you enjoyed the game.